I have been recording a number of grammars, inductive Hebrew grammar, I should say, on the Epilogue of Hammurapi. And I think we put up about 15 parts to it, 15 videos, and we're now continuing on that code. And what I'm doing is giving an inductive Hebrew grammar, or excuse me, an inductive Akkadian grammar. I do Hebrew grammars as well, but inductive Akkadian grammar. And I'd like to pick up on line 50 or 81. We are in column 50, and we are now picking up at line 81. And if anyone is following me, I would encourage you to go to Google Books and look up my grammar, a short inductive Akkadian grammar based on the Epilogue of Hammurapi's Code is the title of it, with biblical parallels to the Hebrew scriptures and with New Testament application to Christ. And so we are at that point, and I'm picking up at line 81. We have seen that we're in that section where he's cursing anyone, that is Hammurapi, that would seek to erase or to destroy any of the laws that he has put up. And so now let's begin at line 81. He continues to describe a curse on anyone that would try to do away with any of his laws, any future king, for example. So we begin. Zababa karadum rabiam marum reshtum sha'ikur haliku imniya ashar tamcharim takasu lishbir. And so we translate that, may Zababa, the mighty warrior, the son, the firstborn son of Echor, who goes at my right hand on the field of battle or place of battle, let him break his weapon. So let's go back and let's look at each word in a grammatical way. Notice Dinger Zababa. Dinger, that little D, is a sign of a god. And Zababa, this is Sumerian, is the Sumerian and Akkadian warrior god of the city of Kesh, the husband of Inanna. So that's who Zababa is in the Akkadian, can I say, pantheon of gods. Then we move on. Karadum Rabium Marum Reshtum. Karadum is warrior, and Rabium is great, from Rabum. So the mighty warrior, and notice the here, Karadum, is showing we're looking at a nominative ending, hence this word is in the nominative case. So may Zababa, the mighty warrior, and notice Rabium is from Rabum, meaning great or mighty, the great warrior. And now we go to 83, Dumu Reshtum. And Dumu, by the way, is the Sumerian word for son, and Marum is the Akkadian rendition, or the Akkadian translation of that Sumerian word. Notice in Hammurapi's code, they will often, or the text will often have the Sumerian, and then we put the Akkadian with that or below that. So Maru means the sun, and notice it's an apposition, again in the nominative case, to Karadum, the son, Reshtum. Reshtum means the firstborn. So the son, the firstborn, or the firstborn son, Shah Ikur. Notice Shah is your relative pronoun, and Ikur would be a house of Kur, which is the temple of Enlil and Nippur. So the firstborn son of that temple of Ikur, Aliku Imniya, who goes at my right hand. Notice Aliku is a G participle, masculine singular from Alaku, that is, who goes at my right hand. And notice Imniya, here we have from Imnu, meaning on the right, and Ya is your pronominal suffix, first person singular. So who goes at my right hand. And notice Imni from Imnu is the genitive singular form followed by Ya, the pronominal suffix, first person singular. Who goes at my right hand, Ashar Tamharim, on the field of battle. Ashar is the preposition on from Ashru, and notice it's now on in the, can I say, in construct with Tamharim. So on the field of battle, or it's a preposition that takes the genitive case. And notice Tamharim is from the noun Tamharu. And notice again, the im ending is looking at the genitive singular. So on the field of battle, Kakasu, his weapon, Lishbir, let him break. Notice Kakasu is really, we're looking first of all at the Sumerian. We have Gish, which is looking at something that is of wood, and here it's looking at his weapon. And notice Tukul is the Sumerian word for weapon, and Shu is your pronominal suffix, third masculine singular. So on the field of battle, his weapon, Kakasu. And notice here, Kakum becomes Kakum Shu, becomes Kakasu, where we have the sheen preceded by the mim, or the im, is actually changes to the two s's, Kakamshu becoming Kakasu. And that final su, originally from shu, is your pronominal suffix, third masculine singular. So his weapon, let him break. And notice it's in the accusative case. And lishbir is from the root shaberu, meaning to break. Here we have a G precative, third masculine singular from shaberu. So let him break. And I think about the Hebrew parallel, shabar, which means to shatter or to break. And so it's interesting that we do have a Hebrew word that would be a cognate. Of course, Hebrew came later, but it's interesting, shabar, meaning to shatter or to break. So what Hammurapi is asking Zababa to do, the warrior god of the city of Kesh, he's saying, first of all, who is the mighty warrior, the firstborn son of Ikor, the temple of Enlil, the one who goes at my right hand on the field of battle, his weapon let him break. In other words, let him destroy the weapon of any opposing king or force. So having said that, we then move on to line 88. Notice it reads, Umam, and I'm reading the normalization. I do have the more of the transliteration above the normalization. So Umam ana mushim, day to night, liter shuma, may he turn for him. Notice here, umam is from umum, and it means day. And may he turn, day, we're looking at an accusative singular here in the to night. Ana is the preposition taking the genitive case. And mushum is the noun meaning night. And notice im here is your genitive singular. So day to night, may he turn, or let him turn for him. Notice liter shuma is from taru, to turn. Here we have a G precative, third masculine singular, followed by the dative shum, meaning let him turn for him. And then the ma is your conjunction and, which leads into the next phrase. So day to night, may he turn for him. That is, may he turn his days into darkness, into night, for him, the opposing king or enemy of Hammurapi, or whoever would try to destroy what Hammurapi has written. Then it reads, Nikirshu Elishu Lizuz, his enemy, over him, let him triumph. Notice Nikirshu is from Nakrum, or Nakru, meaning enemy. And here, Nakru becomes Nakir in construct with shu, the pronominal suffix, third masculine singular. So his enemies, Alishu, here we have the preposition Eli, taking again the pronominal suffix shu. So his enemy over him, let him triumph. Lish ziz. And I'm understanding lish ziz to be a sheen precative, third masculine singular, from azezu, meaning to triumph. So let him triumph over him. And then he continues in line 92. Inanna, or dinger inanna, belet me u shen patiat to ka or to kalya lamasi damiktum raimat paleya ina libisha agim ina uzatisha rabiatum sharusu lirur. Let's go back and let's look at it now. May Ishtar. Notice Ishtar, line 92, comes, the Sumerian is Inanna, and Ishtar is the goddess of love and the goddess of war, goddess of love and war. And Ishtar was identified with the planet Venus. So may Ishtar, Belet, the lady Tachazim, the lady of battle and conflict, Kablim. Notice Belat is from Beltu, it means lady. And notice Belat is in construct with Tahazim, the lady of battle. And notice May is the Sumerian word for battle in the capital letters, and Tahazim is the Akkadian, so the lady of battle from Tahazum. So May, the lady of battle, and conflict. Notice we have Shin, Shin, that's the Sumerian, and Gablum means conflict. And here we have the genitive then in Gablim. And it goes back, all of this is in construct, the lady of battle and conflict. It is interesting that in Hebrew, the construct will be two nouns back to back. We don't have the case endings anymore in biblical Hebrew. Ruach Elohim, the Spirit of God. And Elohim is in the genitive if we were translating it, but there's no case ending. And so here we have case endings in Akkadian, the lady of battle and conflict, who makes strong, or who unsheaths. Notice patiat, meaning to unsheath, and it's from patum, who makes strong or who unsheaths. I'm understanding this as a G feminine participle, referring back to Ishtar, who makes strong or unsheaths my weapons. Notice gish tukauya, tukuya is the Sumerian for weapon, and ya is your pronominal suffix, first person singular. So who unsheaths my weapons, and that kaki is an oblique genitive accusative plural, who unsheaths my weapons. And here I'm understanding it as an accusative plural in that oblique I, long I. And then we move on, Lamasi, my personal deity. I rendered this my God's shadow, my personal deity, from Lamasum. And notice the E here is the pronominal suffix, first person singular, from Lamasum. In other words, becoming Lamasi with that pronominal suffix in the I here. So my personal deity, my good personal deity. Now we have the adjective damiktum from damku. So my good personal deity, damiktum, is the adjective here from damkum again, meaning good. So my good personal deity, who loves, and here following this feminine adjective, we have ra'imat, who loves my reign. Notice ra'imat is from ramu, to love. Again, we have a G, as I would understand it here, a G participle, feminine singular, from ramu. So who loves my reign. Notice Bao-ya is from the Sumerian Bao, meaning reign, and Ya is your pronominal suffix, first person singular. So bringing it into the Akkadian, Paleya would mean the one who loves my reign. Then he goes on, in a libisha, in her heart of wrath, gim. Notice inna is the preposition, and here it takes the genitive case from libu, libu meaning heart, and so in the heart of her, genitive in the B. Notice the I, indicative of the genitive singular. And Sha is the pronominal suffix, third feminine singular. So in her heart of fury or of wrath, notice Agim from Agum, the heart of wrath. Again, I'm seeing this in the genitive case because of the im, and then in her fury. So in her furious heart, in her fury. Notice inna takes the acute preposition, and here it takes the genitive case. Inna, in her fury. Uzatisha. Uzatisha is from uzatum, and here again we have the genitive singular with the I affix, followed by the sha, a suffix, third feminine singular. So of wrath in her fury and her great fury. Notice rabiatim, again, is the genitive singular adjective from rabum. So in feminine adjective. So in her great fury, sharusu lirur, his rule let her curse. Notice sharusu is from sharutu. It means rule, and you add shu to that, the pronominal suffix, third masculine singular, and it changes to the two s's here in normalization. So sharushu or sharut shu became sharusu, and that final su here was an original shu, third masculine singular pronominal suffix. Lirur, let her curse. Notice lirur is from araru, to curse. It's a G precative, third masculine singular from araru. It's interesting. The Hebrew word, there's a Hebrew word for curse. One is kalal. Here we have arar, and we have that in Hebrew as well. So again, we have another word that we have a, can I say, similar root in Hebrew. So his rule, let her curse. Again, the G precative, third person singular, and here feminine singular, let her curse. And then damkatishu ana limnetim liptir. That is, his good to evil let her turn. In other words, he's saying, may she turn that is Ishtar, his good to evil. Notice damkatishu is from damku, meaning good. And so damkatishu, his good. And notice shu here is your pronominal suffix, third masculine singular, from damku. So let him turn his good to evil. Notice ana lemnetim is from lemnu, and again ana takes the genitival case here, the genitive case, to evil, lemnetim, again from lemnu, and here again we have the genitive singular in evil. So let her turn his good to evil. Hammurapi is giving this curse, and letir is from taru, meaning to turn. And here again, we have a G precative, third masculine singular from taru. So as we look at these lines that we've looked at, Hammurabi is praying a curse on anyone that would change whatever he had written. And you know, it's interesting as we look at this, we see the king wanting his laws to be permanent, and that no one dabble with them or try to change them. And if for anyone that would, he's wishing this kind of a curse. He wished blessings. Now he's going to the curse. By the way, it's interesting in the book of Deuteronomy, you have the what I call the suzerainty treaty, where these were you had Hittite treaties, and as the book of Deuteronomy was written, you have blessings and cursings. If you do what I say, here are the blessings. If you don't do what I say, here are the curses. Especially in Deuteronomy chapters, 26 through 30, you have that type of application, I believe, from the Hittite treaty pattern. There was a book written years ago entitled The Treaty of the Great King, written by Klein on the book of Deuteronomy. And he saw in the book of Deuteronomy a suzerainty treaty outline where you had the king saying, here's what I've done for you. Yahweh saying, here's what I've done for you at that time, O Israel. And then here's what I expect from you. And you see that in the body of the treaty of Deuteronomy, beginning in chapter 5 and going through chapter 26. And then here are the blessings and curses. If you don't do what I say, here are the curses. If you do what I say, here are the blessings. And then a jury is called, heaven and earth, to bear witness that a treaty has been made. And so we don't see a treaty pattern here in Deuteronomy or here in Hammurapi, but it is interesting. We do see the blessings early on and the curses. So whether this came through then in Hittite with the Hittite suzerainty treaty, and then later into the biblical book of Deuteronomy, I don't know. But we have both ideas here, the blessing and the cursing. And I've thought about, as a Christian minister, about Jesus, and I pointed this out several times, on the cross said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do. And I was just interesting to me, what a difference between the king who I believe, the final divine God-man king, and his forgiving heart. And it's just interesting for me to see that sharp contrast. Thank you for listening. I hope this is helpful in the Hebrew or in the Akkadian grammar that we are doing here. If anyone would be interested in Hebrew, inductive Hebrew grammars, we do a lot of that on YouTube as well as inductive Greek grammars. So if anyone would have an interest, I would share that as well on our YouTube site under my name, Dr. Gary Stats. Thank you for listening. I hope this is helpful.